I guess we're going to start with some brief introductions here. My name is Mr. Duracco. I'm the College and Career Counselor for the Arlington Career Center. And I'm on the second floor, room 230 in the mothership. We also have a few other counselors from ACC and from NOVA here, and I will let them introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kathy Brewster. I'm the Director of Counseling at the Career Center, and I'm happy to be here to support Frank, our awesome college and career counselor. Good evening, everybody.
I'm John Cruz. I'm a school counselor, A through D.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nina Cuzio. I have last names E to L. Nice to be here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Schaefer. I have the students with the last names M through R. Nice to see everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Teresa Gentile, and I have last names S through Z.
So, folks, on this call, we can spend several hours going over all the little nuances and details of a college application process. But of course, we're not going to do that here in this session. Instead, this is more of an overview of things we've been working on over the past year and a half, things that are coming up, and what some of the student expectations are. Some things we'll discuss here, as mentioned, we'll talk a little bit about the college application process, some of the requirements, teacher recommendations and counseling recommendations, which are huge pieces of the college application process. We'll talk briefly about scholarships, financial aid, Northern Virginia Community College, some transfer options, talk about SATs a little bit, and a few other things. Now, some factors to consider, students, when you're looking at colleges, right? The first thing a lot of students look at are the academic programs, right? What majors and minors are available at the colleges you want to go to? Location is always key. Do you want an urban setting? Do you want a rural setting? Do you want a bustling city environment? Distance from home was huge for me and many of us when we went away to college. Distance from home. Think about how far you want to be from home and how travel affects family and affects your friends and all the other connections. Campus culture, of course. Student life is important, something to consider. Diversity, that's very important. And the number one or number two thing for all of us is cost of attendance, tuition, and fees. So those are all some of the major things that you want to consider when thinking about what college you want to go to. Some look at national reputation, some look at rankings. Like I said, some look at the price point, some look at how far they have to travel, especially traveling home to do your laundry. That was one of my issues in college. Students look for different career services, different industry certifications within the college. Do you offer study abroad programs? What are the campus facilities look like? How good is the food? What are the lunch facilities look like? And of course, extracurriculars and activities. Sports and recreation are huge for a lot of students. If athletics are important to you, look into some of the college programs. And of course, arts and culture are also big when considering colleges. More college research tools, right? So what we have this year, we have a new program called School Links. School Links is what APS uses now for their college and career readiness platform. I send emails through School Links. I set up college visits through School Links. Students connect their School Links account with their college applications, which allows me and the rest of the counseling staff to have access to their college applications. We can see their application deadlines, help with letters of recommendation, just a bunch of different features we have in School Links that we do connect to students' college applications. More on that in a minute. Speaking of research, we have a variety of in-person college visits to ACC. We kicked off our college visit season this week on Tuesday with Virginia Tech. Yesterday, we had VCU on campus. Today we had University of Denver. I had about 10 students attend that. So students, if you go to your School Links account and you click on events, you can see all the different colleges that are coming to visit ACC this coming year. What this does, this gives students an opportunity to learn about the college and learn about some things they may not have considered or known about. They get to ask admission counselors direct questions about their university, about their programs, about campus life. Students get to learn about student life, dorms, the campus environment. Colleges differ from one another in a variety of different ways. These are all great opportunities to come and get yourself in front of the college admissions officers. And one thing to keep in mind, a lot of colleges do track demonstrated interest. So oftentimes when you come to our college visits, you'll fill out maybe a card or scan a QR code. And oftentimes that'll go into a student's file as accounting for demonstrated interest. It was awesome. School Links, there's a college search tool within School Links that all students can use. There's a variety of different platforms out there. There's College Board, there's School Links, there's Princeton Review. There's a lot of different ones. And on this slide, I have a thumbs up or thumbs down for a live demo. And of course, when I'm in presentation mode, I can't see any thumbs up or thumbs down. So I'm going to count this as a thumbs up that you want to see a live demonstration. So students, I am going to my student demonstration mode in my School Links account. A couple of things I do want to point out. I want to point out where I showed you where the events were. If you click on events, you can see all the events we have coming up. You register for the event. This way I know that you're coming and the college rep knows you're coming. But back to business. We are talking about the college tab, college search. I have my filters set for Virginia, public and private colleges. You can see all the tiles that outline all the colleges. For here, I'm going to type in engineering. Okay, so let's look at engineering schools across Virginia. And of course, you can apply additional filters to the college search. Search by campus, admissions, acceptance rate, sports, degree type, other. I'm going to keep my simple for the sake of time. So based on what I'm looking for Virginia schools with engineering. Here's what I came up with. You can click on the college. Once you click on the college, it'll give some more demographics about the college. Acceptance rate, graduation rate. Admissions is important. You click on admissions for any college, not only in Virginia, this goes for all colleges within the system. You can click on each college's scattergram and it will give you a basic idea kind of where you stand in relation to other students in our school. So all the scatter plot data you see here is for Virginia Tech and it is for our school. Again, that information is available to everyone on their School Links account. So there's a live demonstration there. I may offer a few more live demos as we go on through this. So here's our George Mason scattergram. This is historical data going over the past several years since the class of 2021. And this shows our acceptance data, students that were denied, waitlisted, etc. And this is all Arlington Career Center data. When you go in your School Links account, you can toggle back and forth between school information, district information, and countrywide information. Here's what we have at George Mason students. You can kind of see where you are as far as your GPA and your standardized test scores. Virginia Tech scattergram looks a little bit different, but you can see that we are pretty successful getting acceptances at Virginia Tech. I think over the course of the past 4 or 5 years, we're a little bit above 40%, which is higher than the national average and county average. Strong partnership with VCU, especially in their arts department, visual and or other. JMU, we have a lot of students play at GMU, we do very well there. I added RIT since, Penn State, UPenn, we have a lot of applications for out of state. RIT seems to be a big one the past couple of years, and we've done really, really successful there. Proud to say. ACC College Application Setup and Integration. This is a document I shared with all seniors several times this year and families. I started pushing out this information over the summer. Basically, it's instructions on how to set up your college applications, which is step one. Start your college applications, username, password, etc. Step two, accessing school links. Step three, connecting Common App with school links. Once students connect Common App with school links, it gives me access to their college applications. I can see their deadlines. I can help shape their requirements, and I can help them with all the different steps along the way, including teacher recommendations. I asked a lot of the seniors at the end of last school year, start talking to your teachers now about recommendations. Let's secure at least 2 teacher recommendations, not only to support your college applications, but to also support scholarship applications, which we'll start that in a few months also. General advice for students, choose teachers who you know well and that can highlight your strengths, obviously. Ideally, try to select a teacher from junior year since you're still fresh in their mind. These junior year teachers, they had you for 90 minutes every other day, so they know your work well. Pick a teacher related to your college major. I think one teacher has to be a core teacher, of course, social studies, science, math, English. And a second recommendation, wonderful, engineering teacher, computer science teacher, art teacher, what have you. All recommendations are requested through your School Links account, students. We all know this. Any outside recommenders outside of the APS system, those recommendations will go through the Common App. I understand for a lot of students that's a little bit confusing, but that is the way that APS has their system set up. So I'm here to help students troubleshoot any of these tasks that we're talking about today. Recommender manager demonstration, thumbs up or thumbs down. I'm going to say it's more fun to show a live demonstration. Okay, so I'm back into my School Links account, students. Students, I know we've gone over this many times. None of this is going to be news to you. When you click on college and you look at your college applications, the first thing you're going to see are these college applications that rolled over from the Common App. I have access to view all of this information. You'll notice a couple colleges here, Georgetown and MIT. They do not have a Common App logo, which means I had to add them manually because they do not use the Common App for their college applications. They use their website. So once you connect your Common App accounts to School Links, any additional colleges not on the Common App, you add those manually, and I have an opportunity to see that. So we're talking about teacher recommendations, right? So as you access each one of these colleges, let's go ahead and open up UVA. Here's your college applications. Let's open up the pencil. Open up the pencil, you see a couple different checklists. Student checklist on the left, teacher recommenders on the middle. So students, if you haven't done it already, especially for November 1st deadlines, get your recommendations in quick. Add recommender, drop down menu, find a teacher, hit next. It's going to send the teacher a prompt to compose your recommendation. The teacher will write the recommendation, upload it back to School Links, and it will be forwarded to your colleges. On the right-hand side here, you see some counselor documents. These are documents that I'm responsible for and your school counselor is responsible for. School report means transcripts, mid-year report, mid-year transcript. And then there is also a spot for counselor recommendations. UVA does not need a counselor recommendation. It's not required, but I think it's an optional recommendation. Let's talk about counselor recommendations, students. For those who have not filled out the brag sheets, I keep sending the brag sheets out on a weekly basis. We have about 23 students of our 100 students who filled out brag sheets. Counselors are not automatically prompted to write your recommendation. There's no drop-down menu for the counselor recommendation. Unfortunately, that's how the system is set up. So what you're required to do is look at each one of the colleges, see if anybody requires a recommendation from a school counselor, and then you need to ask a school counselor. Ask your counselor, ask me. We're going to prompt you to fill out the brag sheets, and then we're going to continue with the process of uploading a recommendation and sending it to the colleges. Here's a quick plug on my YouTube channel. So a lot of the things we talk about today, I made many videos of each one of the tasks on my YouTube channel. I tried to keep them under 2 minutes each so you don't zone out and get lost. But how to request recommendation letters, I have it. Connecting your School Links account, I made the video. Adding non-Common App schools to your School Links account, we have that information. And signing the FERPA waiver, which needs to be done in order for your teachers and I to send recommendations. Let's talk about college application deadlines. I have been pushing early action since the end of last year. Early action is exactly what it sounds like. It's an early deadline, typically between November 1st and December 1st. You apply early, you get a decision earlier. Not all students are ready for early action, but we will meet you where you're at. If you're not ready for early action, or maybe you're ready for one school early action, then we'll do regular decision. That's totally fine. We will meet you where you're at. Early action is typically November, December. Regular decision typically around February. You can apply to as many early action schools as you want to. When we're talking about early decision is a binding commitment, typically about the same deadline, November, December deadline. However, if accepted to your early decision school, the expectation is that's a school you're going to attend, and you have to withdraw all of your other offers. That works for some students. For some students, that does not work. They do early action, regular decision. And of course, rolling decision, right? VCU is one of the rolling admission schools that we have. Rolling admission basically means if you apply today, they're going to start reviewing your application, and you may get a decision within 2 to 3 weeks. So rolling admission is a really great option. Early action I promote. Regular decision is totally okay. Let's look at 2 examples of students who have set their deadlines in their Common App and students who have not set their deadlines in a Common App. One of the things that I do when I come to work every morning, I open up my School Links account and I filter college applications by their deadline. And that's how I process them. I'm going to start processing the early deadlines first, right? For example, here's some of each one of these marks here represents a document that we need to submit. Cornell, they want these 5 documents. Purdue wants these 5. Virginia Tech, 3. For the student down here who connected their Common App, but they did not select their deadlines, there's no deadline selected, so I don't know I don't know when their deadlines are. So students on this call, if you haven't gone into your Common App yet and set your deadlines, please do so. And if you need help, come see me. I'm happy to help you. As of today, I have about over 550 individual college applications to process. So the sooner you set your deadlines, the sooner I can start sending supporting documents to support your colleges. Here's some benefits of submitting college applications early. More time to focus on your academics, less time waiting for colleges to make their decisions. More time for scholarship applications, more time to focus on your DE classes and your other academics, your sports, more time to evaluate admissions decisions. Another thing is priority scholarship consideration. A lot of colleges want you to apply early while they still have a lot of scholarship money. Typically early is by November 1st. Apply by November 1st, which is going to open up more scholarship consideration. Okay, I'm going to take a breath. You all should take a breath too. Everybody keep calm. We got this. It's an opportunity for us to take a sip of our coffee and reflect on all the awesome things that we've learned so far. Okay, break time is over. So let's look into the Common App. That's commonapp.org. We had students start their Common App accounts in the spring of last year, and we're continuing to work on them. The Common Application, also referred to as the Common App, is a centralized college application platform that allows students to apply to multiple colleges and universities within one application. Students fill out one application form and submit it to multiple colleges, saving a lot of time and effort. Students can easily add or remove colleges from their application list. Students write their personal essays, and you can submit one essay to all your colleges. Supplemental essays will be within the colleges tab. And of course, students, if any of you have any economic barriers, which doesn't allow you to apply to multiple colleges, it's going to be between $50 and $70 per college application. I know that's a hefty price tag. If anybody here on this call is experience any barriers, please let me know. I can show you on how to request a fee waiver, which I'll have to verify, so that you can submit college applications free of charge without having a barrier. A new feature within your Common App accounts, if you notice on the left-hand side, now there's a direct admissions tab, meaning that if you qualify based on citizenship, fee waiver eligibility, GPA scores, graduation dates, you will qualify for some direct admissions colleges all over the country. So if you check your direct admissions tab within your Common App, you will be matched to, well, hopefully you will be matched to a bunch of colleges that you have direct admissions to, which means they're saving a seat for you. All you need to do is finish their application and send it in and kind of follow their next steps to take advantage of their direct admissions policies. At ACC, we're lucky enough to have a George Mason direct admissions program. From what I've been told, starting today, I think today's the 18th, starting today, George Mason is going to start sending qualified students conditional offer letters, which means they're going to send you an amended version of the college application so that you can fill it out. To qualify, students have a minimum GPA of a 3.25 at the end of junior year. If you have a 3.25 or higher, you're going to get an email saying, congratulations on your academic performance. We are saving the seat at George Mason. Should we be lucky enough to have you? They're going to send you the application 80% filled out, verify some information, sign the bottom line, send in that application, and then kind of follow their next step processes. We do have a contact for the direct admissions program. Her name is Ms. Cardew, Associate Director of Admissions, and she will be coming to ACC next Friday to meet with students not only interested in direct admissions, but George Mason as a whole. So that's exciting. Local and ACC scholarships. From my experience, a huge bulk of the scholarships our students earn come from our local partners. There is some big box scholarships out there that everybody in the country can apply for. And Arlington is so small, and there's so many different opportunities within Arlington and Arlington partners. They want to give you money too. So my advice to you is keep your eye on my messages. I have not sent out a lot of scholarship information yet. I'll start sending more scholarship stuff out in December when a lot of scholarships open. If you need help applying or accessing any of the scholarships, please let me know. Speaking of which, let's do another quick live demo, students. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to be living in this college tab. Clicking on college, I'm clicking on scholarship matching. Okay, this is a comprehensive database of national scholarships and local scholarships. I'll show you. Gender, zip code, you can filter by ethnicity, filter by origins and ancestry, religious affiliations, GPA, you name it. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Then I'm going to hit next again. I'm going to get to the very last page. Using this platform, it's going to match you to a lot of different scholarships based on the filters that you added. And one thing that I think is neat, if you go to district posted, these are scholarships that I posted for our students at ACC and all across the county. So far, I've only had the opportunity to post these 5 local area Arlington scholarships that we know give our students money. Like I said, as the scholarships come back to me with their application deadlines, I'm entering all this information into our SchoolLinks account so students can go to district posted, Arlington Rotary Club, Coca-Cola, that's a national one, but it's huge. Arlington Fairfax Chapter of Environmental Sciences, Ackerson Family, they give out $30,000. Alfred Street Baptist Church, you don't have to be affiliated with the church to access their application. Arlington Community Foundation, they award over $700,000 in scholarships last year. That will be posted soon. Keep your eye on your messages. You fill out one application, it goes to 70 different organizations. So just another thing to keep your eye on. Go back to the presentation. Let me talk briefly about sending SAT and ACT scores, right? A lot of our partner schools are still test optional, which means if you're not satisfied with your SAT score, ACT score, if you don't think it falls within any college's mid-range, you don't have to send the scores. Instead, they will take a little closer look at your recommendations, make sure your academics are on point. If any students still want to take an SAT or ACT, come and see me. I can still give out fee waivers. So another key thing about SATs is even if we don't use SATs for admission, some colleges will still want to see that score for scholarship consideration. So that's why I tell students all the time, Mr. Duraco, hey, I'm not a good test taker. Should I still take the SAT? I say, yes, take the SAT. There's still a chance that that score can save your family anywhere between $1,000 and $5,000 based on how well you do on the test. Okay, I'm trying to get to the next slide. Okay, test optional policies. I took these statements directly from the websites. Virginia Tech continues to be test optional. I'm going to stop talking for a minute and show you a few slides and have a sip of my coffee. Mason, GMU, UVA, test optional. I'm going to take another sip of my coffee and I'm going to hand this presentation over to Ms. Magro. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Duraco and ACC counselors for sponsoring this evening. I'm looking at the list of people entering the lobby as they come in and out, and I see a lot of familiar faces, or excuse me, familiar names. So welcome back to this presentation. I'm just really here to look at kind of the next steps that your students will probably be taking once they get done with their dual enrollment credits. And this would be for students earning associate's degrees. I see a few of those parents out here, as well as students that have earned a few credits that they're going to use for either Gen Ed or perhaps CTE requirements at their schools. What we want you to do is when you apply your credits to the four-year schools, some are very specific as to what you took and what where you took it, which of course would be NOVA, and what requirements it may have met. So what we really want you to be sure of here is when you're filling out, even students that are getting associate's degrees, that you're still applying as a freshman to each school. And the reason the schools want you to be a freshman, they want you really to evaluate your application with others in your pool. They want other students from the high school class of 26, college class of 30 perhaps, to really form a class at their school. They're going to want students to start together. They're going to want students to live together, and they're going to want students to kind of take entry-level, perhaps seminars or orientations once they get to that institution. Now, as someone said beautifully to me, that we all start out as social freshmen because they want you with people of your own peer and age group, but within a month or so, all of a sudden you become an academic junior. And that's what we see a lot of the students coming in with associates or 40 to 50 credits coming in. So again, they want your peer group to be there socially, but in terms of classes, that's where all of a sudden you may reach advanced standing. So when you go to your orientation, wherever that might be, you do want to make sure you have an unofficial copy of your NOVA transcript so that the advisor there can help you look at classes, not to duplicate work that you've already done. Now, a lot of people ask about turning in their NOVA classes as part of the application. And again, that really depends on the school, but I quote Frank a lot on this, on the fact that most colleges will accept your student based on their high school transcript. So those schools are going to evaluate your high school transcript, determine admission, and once you accept their offer and put your deposit down, that's when we go into looking at how things are going to be evaluated for dual enrollment. Now, I tell students and families also, as you're going on your tours and you're establishing lifelines with reps at the different schools, to go ahead and ask what their DE policies are for transfer. Many of the schools I've heard will address this with AP and IB because DEs become just an integral part with that transfer. But you do want to make sure you find out what their policies will be. A lot of schools, especially here in Virginia, there are partner schools, will take things right away. Some may want you to redo a class that's part of what you may want to major in, solely for the fact, if you're a math major, say, they may want you to do a math class just to kind of get used to their faculty, their procedures, their facilities, a science class perhaps with a lab. So these are really good questions that you want to bring in as you go through. Keep in mind also that DE students, especially those with degrees, do not fall under the guaranteed admission agreement because that really is geared for a student coming in as a junior. And these students do want you coming in as a freshman to hopefully experience 4 years there, live, work, and study with people of your own age group. Now, people that have a lot of credits, perhaps, let's say a year or 2 years worth of credit, may choose to study abroad, take a minor, take an additional major. We've seen students across the board on this. So it's something you want to plan with your family and with your advisors once you choose to go to that particular school. Most DE classes that have C's or higher, they want you to come in as a transfer. It comes in as transfer credit. And whether it was an A or C, in many occasions, it still just comes in as transfer credit. So that's something that works out well, especially in gen ed classes where you're kind of ready to move on to the next part. Slide, thank you. You were a couple seconds ahead. Now, taking a look at the students that are not going to be going away after they leave, they're not going to be taking their talents and grades to UVA, Penn State, UCLA, wherever you choose, that want to stay at NOVA. We do have a lot of plans where you can take the credits that you've gained here at Arlington Tech and just fold those right into an associate's in NOVA. And most of the students that do that end up finishing that associate's in 1 year. Depending on how many, the numerical value of the credits, usually 24 is the magic number. On many occasions, that does allow the student then to go in as a full transfer, in fact, come in as a high sophomore or junior with that. So that's something I can certainly help you with discussing, as well as my colleague, Jasmine, who'll be starting to visit ACC to work with kids that are coming right to NOVA after graduation. She'll be coming in starting in the spring. We do like to let people know, however, that you've already got a NOVA ID number, so no reason to go through that application again. We also have direct placement, which means if you have not taken an English or math class DE, there's an assessment that will tell you where you need to be. And as always, we're going to encourage you to complete the FAFSA. One, to be able to see what kind of scholarships are out there for you, but also, as Frank mentioned, many scholarships want to see it to kind of equal the playing field among applicants. So if you're going to make that decision, I'm there certainly to help you to finish that, hand you off to Jasmine, and get you ready for your next steps. Next slide. Okay, and this is Jasmine's contact information. Again, she'll be starting to come visit in the spring. She's absolutely fabulous. She knows our students, she knows our programs really well, and will help you get set up with your next steps in terms of classes and or people on the campus you're able to see, certainly for academic advising, but also for some of those things that we talked about earlier: student life, student government, clubs that you can get involved in, and ways that you can totally become engaged in the NOVA community as well. If you have any questions, I will be here on the chat and I'm happy to talk with you. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Ms. Megra. I appreciate it. Financial aid, the free application for federal student aid that opens up on October 1st. U.S. citizens, permanent residents have a green card. You can all apply. It gives you money to pay for college or technical school, grants. You can apply for work study, take out loans, and like Ms. Magro said, find yourself eligible for additional scholarships. There's the website. FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. It opens up October 1st. FAFSA versus VASA, right? So if you are a U.S. citizen and eligible non-citizen, you will fill out the federal information. If you are not a U.S. citizen, if you are undocumented, deferred action, childhood arrivals, etc., then you will fill out the Virginia state application. You cannot fill out both. You can only fill out one. So eligible students and families, you will fill out the FAFSA starting in October 1st. And I believe for the Virginia state aid only, the VASA application, I believe that is open now. The college application process. Let's talk about some of the counseling responsibilities, right? We are responsible for sending transcripts and other supporting documents to your colleges. Like I said, pay attention to your deadlines. You know that I pay attention to your deadlines. So I look at your deadlines and I start sending documents probably before you even apply. I help manage letters of recommendation. Students, if you have any questions in regard to teacher recommendations, outside recommendations, how to add recommendations, how many recommendations you need, if you have any difficulties figuring this out, please come and see me. I have an open door policy. You know where my room is. I'm in room 230, second floor of the mothership. Secondary school reports, which means transcripts, I send those. I will help you in planning and troubleshooting any issues that come up. Now, do I know all the answers to all your questions? No, I don't. But any questions I don't know, we will find out together. And please, I do want to review your applications before you submit them. I understand there's a lot of students out there that submit without me reviewing. That's totally fine. But I have been seeing some errors, particularly in the education section on the Common App. And I know a lot of you students do have a private college prep counselor that you're working with, which is great. But there are still some areas, and I have some institutional knowledge of ACC and Arlington Tech that the private counselors don't. So before you submit anything, just let me put my eyes on it, just to look at a couple different areas where I see some mistakes. Student responsibilities, of course, submit your college applications by the application deadline. Don't worry about if you see a recommendation is missing or a transcript is missing. We can flow our files in after your deadlines. Of course, we try not to let that happen, but just know going forward, you guys can go ahead and submit as early as you want. You don't have to wait for teachers and counselors to send our documents. Track your application portals for additional information when requested. Make sure your Common App is connected with Schooling, so we almost all have that done by now. Of course, follow counselor and teacher recommendation process. SAT scores we reviewed. Stay organized. If you need anything, please help us. And of course, review your final applications thoroughly. Things that you should know after submitting your college applications. For each college application that you submit, you're going to get an email thanking you from the college for submitting your college application, and they're going to give you instructions on how to open up your college application portal. Within each portal, there's like they vary from school to school depending on what they're asking for, but they may be asking you for any supplemental information. Sometimes they use their portals in order for you to self-report some grades or self-report SATs. So just keep in mind, when you hit the apply button, within 24 to 48 hours, you'll get an email to open up your own college application portal where you kind of look at some of the stuff that they're asking for you to submit. Taking a gap year, what some seniors need to know, right? So oftentimes students leave high school and they're just not ready to take that next step. You're just not ready to go right into college. And guess what? That's okay, right? A gap year is typically 1 year that students take off between high school and graduation before they go to university. Some students choose to travel either domestically or internationally to go explore maybe new cultures, new experience. Some opt to go to work, gaining a lot of practical experience and saving money for colleges. Some students do take advantage of some volunteer opportunities, skill development, personal growth. So it really varies from student to student. Local gap year events. I know that if you go to USA Gap Years, if you Google USA Gap Years, you can see any local events that may be happening. I happen to find one that's going to be happening in Fairfax, Virginia on January 28th at Marshall High School. So I anticipate at this gap year fair, there's going to be a lot of resources, different organizations, different opportunities for you to look into. And in February 24th, I know it's months away. I'm not going to send out the link yet. APS will have their own gap year presentation. So keep your eyes peeled on your emails and all your messages that you get from me going forward, because there are going to be other opportunities out there for our gap year students. Same with our military recruiters, right? At any time during the school year, it could be during an archer's period or during lunch, during 3 lunches. We try to bring in different military recruiters from all different branches to speak with our students. It's a good opportunity for students to know about different opportunities outside of gap years, outside of going to college. So we're going to bring in military recruiters throughout the school year. Again, keep your eyes on your School Links events, and I will also be advertising for any of the events that are coming up. College application support hours, where my office, you can finish this sentence for me, students, room 230 in the mothership. When? During your flex, during your study hall, during your archers, during lunch. If you want to meet me one-on-one, schedule a time to meet with me, because as you know, I do share my office with Miss Magro, and I do share my office with Miss Kaufman, our capstone coordinator. So if you want some one-on-one help with no outside interference, just shoot me an email. We can set up a time to meet. Otherwise, I'm working with students throughout the school day in small groups and individually. My door is always open. You know that. I have a big neon open sign. You're always welcome in my office for whatever you need. I'm going to plug the College and Career Fair, which is going to be happening at the TJ Community Center in a few weeks. There's going to be over 120 local organizations, national organizations, colleges at this event. You can scan this code here or just go to APS website to register. I'll be there. Other college and career professionals will be there at the event, and I'm looking forward to it. I have next Wednesday, that would be this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, September 24th at 6:30. I'm going to start sending out the link for any students interested in the Common App Ready presentation. I have someone that works for the Common App putting together a virtual presentation just to kind of review. I know I reviewed all the different nuances of the Common App with you already, but this is someone from Common App to kind of show you any tricks or any kind of just little ideas within the Common App that I haven't covered. Common App Ready. Keep your eyes and ears looking for the link. And of course, this one is posted in your School Links account under events. Whew. Everybody, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. This was great for me. This is something that I do almost all day, every day, and I really do enjoy it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm sure many of you are wondering what I even look like, who I have not met. Okay, I stopped sharing my screen, I think. No, I didn't. Okay, now I stop sharing my screen. Folks, you can unmute yourself. You can ask me any questions as it relates to anything that you heard today.